In this lesson, we're going to learn how to talk about our hometown. Let's begin with the vocabulary at the top of the page. Beach, beach. Restaurant, restaurant. Skyscraper, skyscraper. Shop, shop. Cafe, cafe. Movie theater, movie theater. Bar, bar. University, university. Nature, nature. Okay, so let's answer the question. What can you find in your hometown? Well, in my hometown, I can find cafes and movie theaters. What can you find in your hometown? Here's a few more things that you can find in a town. Temple, temple. Theme park, theme park. Church, church. Mosque, mosque. Park, park. Museum, museum. And art gallery, art gallery. Okay, so speaking task. Describe the place where you live. Okay, let me go first. So, my hometown has nature and restaurants. We also have churches and museums. So, what can you find in your hometown? Can you describe it for me? Next question. How long have you been living there? I have been living there for 5 years. How long have you been living in your hometown? What is it like? What is it like? We'll have to use an adjective for this one. So, my hometown is beautiful. My hometown is peaceful. My hometown is green and I don't know. Green and happy. Let's say green and happy. What is the best and the worst thing about it? Okay, first, the best thing about my hometown is the nature. The worst thing about my hometown is it is a little boring. There's not a lot to do. What about you? What's the best and the worst thing about your hometown? Useful language. These phrases help you talk about where you live. Okay, and it says, let's practice talking about someone else. Pick a friend or family member who lives in a different place. And we're going to use all of these sentence templates on the side. So I'll go first. I'm going to talk about my friend Mary. She used to live in London, but now she lives in Tokyo. It's an amazing place with lots of skyscrapers. What she likes about it is the shopping and the bars. The best thing about it is the art galleries. She doesn't like the movie theaters. So I just made that up. Okay, so you can make up something on your own. Okay, next page. example dialogue, two people talking about their hometowns. So let me read this for you. Henry, what can you find in your hometown? My hometown has a movie theater, a cafe, and a university. How about you? What can you find in your hometown? My hometown has skyscrapers, restaurants, and shops. Are you still living in your hometown? No, now I live in a different city. It's called Boston. Boston, cool. How long have you been living there? I've been living in Boston for 5 years. I like it because it has art galleries, museums, and a park. Where do you live now? I live in Niagara. I like it because it has lots of nature and churches. What is the worst thing about Boston? The worst thing about Boston is that the shops are too expensive. What's the worst thing about Niagara? The worst thing about Niagara is that it can be a little boring. I hope I can visit you someday. Good night. So there's an example of two friends talking, perhaps talking on the phone or maybe texting about their hometowns. And you can also use idioms to talk about daily situations. And these idioms are related to the word town. Okay? So we usually say city for a place with a lot of people. And then we say town for a smaller city with not many people. Out of town, the first idiom. Out of town, right here. So that means away from the city that I live. So a lot of people would say, oh, I'm going out of town next week. Or, I cannot have dinner with you on Friday night because I'm going out of town. The second one, to hit the town. That's when you go out and spend time in a city doing something fun. So you could say, I can't wait to hit the town next week. Or the example, she worked all week and then hit the town on the weekend. Do you like to hit the town? And paint the town red, the third idiom. To spend time drinking, dancing, hanging out, going to restaurants. It's similar to hit the town, but to paint the town red, it's more about partying, dancing, drinking, stuff like that. So you could say, I'm going to paint the town red this weekend. Paint the town red. I wonder where that comes from. A lot of idioms have like a history. They come from somewhere, but I'm not aware of the history of that idiom. Okay, let's try fill in the blanks. So, number 1, I saw some beautiful paintings at the It's art gallery. I saw some beautiful paintings at the art gallery. Number 2, she saw some dinosaur bones at the museum. She saw some dinosaur bones at the museum. Number 3, we play football in the park. We play football in the park. Number 4, they are drinking coffee at the cafe. Cafe. They are drinking coffee at the cafe. Number 5, they had been eating dinner at a Where do you eat dinner? At a restaurant. They had been eating dinner at a restaurant. Number 6, the city will have built very tall by then. The city will have built very tall skyscrapers by then. Skyscrapers. Number 7. We would have been drinking at a bar. We would have been drinking at a bar. Number 8. She learned a lot from her professor at... Where does a professor work? At a university. She learned a lot from her professor at university. Okay, I hope you have mastered that vocabulary. Let's go on to the next part. Putting it all together. I will read this paragraph for you now. I live in a city called London. This is not London, England. It is a city in Canada. Some of Canada's cities have the same name as English cities. London, Canada, has many restaurants and cafes. For entertainment, you can go to the movie theater or the art gallery. There is a famous university in London called Western University. It is not close to the ocean or lake, so there are no beaches. It is multicultural, so there are churches, temples, and mosques. I have been living in London for 10 years. My favorite part of this city is the nature. There are many parks and forests where you can go for walks, runs, or have picnics with friends. The worst thing about London is that it is far away from other big cities in Canada. You need to drive for almost 2 hours to get to Toronto or Niagara Falls. This isolation isn't all bad, however. If you drive half an hour outside the city, you can find beautiful, quiet forests. Overall, I enjoy living in London. So hopefully, at the end of this lesson, you are now able to talk about your hometown in a paragraph. So you should be able to talk for 30 seconds or 1 minute about your hometown. I hope that you practice. You can write, you can type comments, or you can talk to a friend. So thank you for watching, and I hope that you learned.